Hi Mohit.
Hey Vinay, come inside.
We just saw your house. It looks fabulous.
Thank you.
How much did you spend to make all of this happen?
To furnish it or to buy it?
Everything put together, and if you can tell how much did the flat cost, and then how much did it took, or how much did you invest to furnish it?
The first lockdown had just opened up. So it was a great timing in terms of just going into the real estate market. And then Mumbai had this thing where stamp duties came down from 6% to 2%. So net, I mean, the intrinsic value of the house was about 8.5, 9 crores. I got it for substantially lower than that, is all I can say. So the furnishing is done by a company called Bent Chair, which is run by a very dear friend of mine. And normally, if Bent would have done a house like this, it would be 1.5 crores or something like that. With me, they didn't even send me a bill. I had to just randomly throw money into their account basis what I thought was right.
Tell us a bit about your work and the journey so far.
So I've never really lived my life on a salary check. I like to sort of take bold bets and get paid if my bold bets move out well.
So even as an angel investor on Ecom Express, I invested what I had in my bank, which is about 8,40,000 or something like that. Made a 40x of that. On Grab, I did a larger, almost close to 40 odd lakh check. Made a 10x on that. And now, of course, I run a more formal structure. So from an angel investor now, turned a proper formal venture capital fund.
So I run a venture capital fund based out of Mumbai. It's called ITI Growth Opportunities.
For many of the people who will watch this video, they may not know what venture capital exactly is and how is it different from other form of investing.
Let me sort of simplify this, right? When you buy, say, a single share of a listed company, it could be Titan, it could be Tata Motors, Reliance, whatever it is. In some ways, you are buying into the growth prospects of that company, but on a listed side. Venture capital is exactly that, but in a private world. So you buy equity into people or into companies which you think will do well 2, 3, 5 years later in a structured but non-listed format. In venture capital, the outcome is very binary. It's either 1 or 0. So you need to calculate that risk when you're sort of investing, and that really is the essence of venture capital.
As a VC, how is your earning structured as a part of the venture capital firm?
GPs are general partners. So I co-own the firm with the ITI group. So the better my firm does, the better my investments do, the more my earnings are. So just to put numbers into perspective, if things go right, once the first fund is fully exited, I'm guessing, on a fund level, we'll do about 4-5 million in carry. I'll take about half of that.
Okay. 2 to 3 million is something which you could expect out of it. Okay, great. Can you, in terms of percentages, can you tell us how your current portfolio looks like? Like what percentages in real estate, equity, debt, gold?
One of the funniest asset classes I have invested in is watches.
Okay.
So, say Rolex or Omega or whatever it is, right? I got onto the bandwagon a little earlier before the euphoria that's happened right now, and actually sold in the euphoria. So in 2021 is when I sold my Rolex at 2.5 times that I bought it at. Contrary to a lot of my generation of people, right? So I'm 35, millennials typically are apprehensive of doing real estate investments. That's
right.
If you time yourself well, real estate investments can be incredibly reaping in terms of reward. So I've done 4 real estate transactions to this house that you're in right now. I also have one more smaller 1 BHK in the same building. So that house essentially, has an EMI of about 1.1 lakh, and I get a rent of about 78,000 on it. So practically the house pays for itself.
Right.
Then I've got another house in Borivali, which is on the western suburbs of Maharashtra, of Bombay, which I bought really early on. So mark to market made money on that, and it gives me a rental yield. Then I have another house in Pune, which again, is a family home that we built. We don't really stay in it. So that's on rent. So I would say 35 on real estate and equity. Because the markets have run up a little bit, so there's a little bit of fixed income allocation that I've increased to about 12-13%. Venture capital will be another 15 odd percent. So that takes it to about close to 95-97%. And the rest would be all other asset classes like watches, gold.
That's your
0.05% of crypto, and anything and everything that's available out there.
What do you personally like to spend on when it comes to, let's say, luxury items?
I like to think that I'm very smart in terms of, again, timing where to buy things from. So all my watches are bought from the Bombay duty free. Okay, because the Bombay duty free at a point in time was the cheapest place on planet Earth to buy luxury watches. Do you know about this?
No.
My Rolex, which was a 7.5 lakh rupee watch, I got it net post cashback, post all of that for 4.95 or something like that. This Omega is a 1.45 acquisition. The same watch at a larger branded store is for 495 right now.
Right.
So it's not about just owning luxury. When you come from a middle class background, you also want to be a little more deal phobic about getting into luxury at the right time.
Right.
Like I wear Tommy Hilfiger. I can see you're wearing Tommy, right? I have never bought Tommy Hilfiger at full price.
Right.
Never in my life. Right? And I've always
full
bought
price is like $6,000 per piece of cloth, right?
I have always bought it at between 50 to 75% discount.
Right.
So we'll go to Europe, we'll go to say La Roca, buy Todd shoes. We love Todd's as a brand. Now Todd shoes are like €1,000 shoe, right? But if in sale, if you're smart enough, our last Todd's bill was like €600 for 3 different shoes. So that's €200 of a shoe. When you don't have the money, you definitely should be smart about it, about buying these things.
And when you have money,
you don't have to be stupid about the money, right? You continue to remain smart, no? Just because you have the money, you don't have to turn into a madman. Like for cars, right? We can buy whatever car we want, but we always only buy used cars, right? 1.5 year old used cars done less kilometers is our key thing to do, which allows us to keep changing cars every 2, 3, 5 years, even if it's in the luxury segment.
If you don't mind me asking, which car are you currently driving?
So I drive, my daily commute car is this mad car, which I really love. It's a Ford Endeavour 3.2 liter. I love that car because, it's large, and for Bombay roads, it's an incredible car. Sober one is the Skoda Superb. My wife drives the Volvo V40. Okay. And everything is bought used. Nothing is bought new.
You talked about getting really best deals out of different things, and you also talked about cars. So what has been your, let's say, what has been your best deal when you've bought a luxury car so far?
On cars, boss, people really, my friends really pull my leg on this one. Every deal on my car, on the cars has been incredible. So the first car I bought with my own money was my ex-boss's car, which was a Honda Accord. And he was basically auctioning it in the office. So, I got that from him. Bought it, and I hope he doesn't see this video. I bought it for 10 lakhs in that auction. Used it for a year. Took it from 20,000 kilometers to 60,000 kilometers and sold it for 12. Okay. Then I bought a Mercedes Benz just before I got married, because wo ek tha ki Punjabi aadmi na, tumko early on in life when you see money, you want to have a Mercedes and all of those things. So I said, boss, Mercedes kharidna hai. Shock tha. I bought this Mercedes from a guy who stays in a building in Bandra called Imperial Heights, which is where Sanjay Dutt stays. And his problem in life was that he needed to get rid of the car because he was using Sanju Baba's parking. So my budget was about 10-12 lakhs at that time. This was a 1.5 year old C230 AMG model. I drove the car. It was immaculate. 12,000 kilometers done, 1.5-2 years old. Really, really nice condition car. And I said, I love this car. He said, sir, we are quoting 24 lakhs for it. If you can pay that, then we can talk. I said, no, 24 to nahi pay kar sakta. 12 mein kara de. I kid you not, I incentivized the guy. So, this was a manager who was selling on behalf of his boss, right? I incentivized him. I said, tu 12 mein deal kara de. 25,000 I'll give you on cash separately. Within 2 hours of me leaving from there, he called and he said, sir, I've got you the deal for 12. Tomorrow morning you have to transfer.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So, the Mercedes was with me for 3 years. Took it from 12,000 kilometers to 68,000 kilometers. Sold it for 14. Superb we bought during the COVID pandemic from this family who was basically Czech in nationality, and they were being relocated back in COVID. So they just had to get rid of the car. This is a 1.5 year old Skoda Superb, 40 lakh rupee car. And these guys are like, we don't know how to sell the car. So they put it up on OLX. I found them on OLX. They wanted 20 lakhs for it. I gave them 12.5.
Do you have a pattern or sense for it, or can somebody also sort of mimic what you do? Because that's like a general theme, right? It's there in your investing, it's there in your work, it's there in how you also spend your money, right? It's a theme which is consistent.
See, it's 100%. I agree, right? And you're amongst the few people who have caught that theme in a 45-minute conversation with me, right? It is 100% a operational secret that I have, where I invariably keep my eyes and ears open for transactions. I'm very opportunistic around entry points into things, right? Whether it is stocks, whether it is car, whether it is anything else. Like my Endeavor, I actually bought it on the day Ford announced their departure from from India. Literally shit hit the roof. So this car was by a Ford dealer who was using it as a demo car. And when Ford gave out that statement that, this is it, Ford is shutting down lights. The car was like available at 45% discount here from its new, and it's a practically brand new car. It was done like 10,000 kilometers. So it was a steal deal to get inside it because people didn't know whether will it be able to fetch that resale value.
Yeah.
And if you look at Ford Endeavor's journey of price correction, that moment when the announcement came, that was the time when it hit peak bottom. And now it's on the way up because there's a scarcity premium. So today when I go to sell it, I'll get the same amount of money as what I paid for it. Probably more. If we are traveling as a family, we are looking at, say, business class tickets. So we'll use Skyscanner. We'll be very smart about how to purchase the business class ticket. I use the Access Magnus card, which gives me a great point coverage ratio, which I convert to KrisFlyer miles or I convert to Air France miles, which essentially pays for a lot of the business class tickets. So you have to just be smart about your money, right? Don't throw it around. The more smarter you are, the better your deal sourcing will be.
What joy does wealth creation bring you? Like as a process, the process of wealth creation, is there a joy?
It's not about just a number that you have to play with. It's also about how much can you make and give back. If you have a skill set which has made you 12 crores, try and compound it to 120. And if you think 12 is enough for you to live with, then there is 90 for you to give back to the world. And with 90 crores, India will be a better place. People can be fed. Stray dogs can be given shelters. There are just so many things that we have to give back to our country and to our people. So why stop, right? So I don't want to retire. And I don't have a number in mind which I want to build. 80% of our total net worth by the time we turn 60 will be pledged back into social giving. 20% will be balance left for us in general. So if you want that 20% to be a large corpus, start working towards the 80% which is pledged. Everyone wins in this, right?